Though the chance to play Halo Infinite has come and gone, I've taken this time to write down my collective thoughts and general feedback about what I enjoyed throughout Halo Infinite's first technical preview. But a little disclaimer before we go into the video. I just want to let everyone know that the build was at least 2 months old by the time we all had the chance to play it. 343 Industries has also mentioned that they have considered the number of bugs we may experience during the flight. I sunk more than 25 hours throughout the Uncharted flight to figure out what this game really feels like and how it compared to the previous Halo titles, giving me a chance to figure out the movement, sandbox, and what I really enjoyed about my overall experience. Shameless plug, but I stream most of my playtime on my Twitch channel, so I'll leave a little graphic up and a link in the description if you'd like to follow me there. Okay, now to the video. One of the first aspects I thoroughly enjoyed about Halo Infinite was the tactile sensation when maneuvering around the map. Whether that was walking, sprinting, or jumping, all of these aspects combined together felt just right, along with the transitions into the slide and clamber animations. The best way I can put it is that these mechanics feel like a combination of Halo 3's base movement and Halo 5's abilities. So if you're a fan of either classic or modern Halo, then I feel like Infinite will be able to satisfy both crowds. Almost every gun I picked up felt extremely rewarding to use, from the commando, sidekick, and to an extent, the pulse carbine. I especially think that the battle rifle feels fantastic to fire and is in a good place for this test flight. All of my charts felt like they were registering, plus the overall hit registration was spot on. As for the assault rifle, it feels great that 343 is giving this weapon a greater utilization within the sandbox. For instance, the AR can be a good peppering weapon to take down your opponent's shields, then using your sidekick to end it with a clean headshot. Speaking of the sidekick, I enjoyed how the pistol is not just a reskin Halo 5 Magnum, but reminds me a lot of the Halo 2 Magnum because of the rate of fire with just a little bit more of a damage output. The Bulldog is an interesting concept for the shotgun, and I have enjoyed it for the handful of times I got to use it. It's neat how you can auto-fire by holding down the trigger, but that is something I didn't figure out until the last day of the flight. The Commando is a neat auto weapon that may replace the saw from 343's previous Halo game. I love the way this weapon emits power when it fires, and you can definitely notice this when nailing a headshot. Finally, for the Covenant weapons. Out of them all, I enjoyed using the skewer the most, mainly because I got to nail my opponents from across the map. This weapon definitely has a skill gap due to the accuracy a player must be able to land a shot. Also, the sound that this weapon emits is so satisfying. The only feedback I have to this lovely weapon would be for the Spartan to become actually impaled to a surface after they've been impaled by the spike. The pulse carbine is a nasty weapon. Taking down your opponent's shield with just a few bursts and landing that clean headshot is so satisfying. My only gripe with it is that for the tracking to be improved for better accuracy. The plasma pistol is, well, a plasma pistol. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But like the pulse carbine, it could definitely use a tracking buff. The Ravager, on the other hand, really surprised me the most in this flight. Not only because it was an offensive weapon like we saw in the campaign demo, but a defensive one at that. Using its secondary fire to launch a red plasma pool makes the floor hazardous and damages nearby players. I can definitely see this weapon being used a lot in modes like Capture the Flag or Territories. And as for the other weapons, I'll leave those for another video, since I'll go more in depth on the feedback on how they should function better in the sandbox come launch. So now let's move to the next section. First off, the combat feels incredibly polished. There's just the right amount of flow in the sense of how two Spartans interact with each other when trying to get the kill. Every encounter I had, whether with bots or PvP, felt very familiar to what it was like when I played Halo 2 and 3. The combat dance around landing the perfect headshot or outsmarting your opponent with maneuverability feels fantastic. Also, being able to fire your weapon immediately out of sprint is such a nice change considering the amount of time you had to wait to fire your weapon back in the previous titles. Along with the flow, I also notice how crucial it is to be confident within yourself when going against somebody. For instance, regaining control of an encounter when you miss a shot or two feels a lot like the classic Halo encounters we've grown to love. Now, I am more excited to see the continuation of how the game flows with additional weapons and more maps to delve into. The The audio design at 343 has done a phenomenal job of making every sound feel as tight as ever. From the 3-round bursts of the battle rifle
Double kill.
to the shield recharge sound after taking a couple hits. I love the familiarity of it all, but with a twist of modern studio technology to make it all sound vibrant. You can definitely hear the love and care this team put into each footstep, weapon reload, and ambience of the maps. So I do hope we get to see more of the sound design fleshed out with more of the maps and the upcoming campaign for Halo Infinite. I just love how aesthetically pleasing each customization piece we saw on the test flight, an ideal balance of the old and new armors we become accustomed to, reimagining old helmets from the most previous games and introducing some fairly new ones, my favorite being the Gundam armor coating equipped with the Enigma helmet. Another welcome return from Halo Reach is the robotic limbs, but with Infinite we can fully deck out our Spartans with prosthetic limbs from both our arms and legs. From the visors to weapon skins, they all feel like this is the right direction to go in the case of expanding of how our Spartans will look. Speaking of the right way to go in the case of customization, the artificial intelligence companions is such a great idea to be implemented into Halo. It feels like this type of customization should have been done in the previous titles. Additionally, I enjoyed the little comments they made about getting a kill with a particular weapon, or when power items were popping into the map.
Oh, you're lethal with a commando. That was awesome.
However, I found that the AI to get a little bit repetitive when picking up a gun over and over because I don't need to know that I picked up the needler 5 times in every match. When it came to learning and understanding the weapon drill section, I fell in love with it. It is a great way to get new and old players to learn how the mechanics work for each weapon against an opponent. In addition, these drills gave way for a more significant opportunity to learn about aim assist, weapon balancing, and precision for those quick kills. And in my experience, I was labbing the sidekick, commando, and battle rifle so I could be prepared for when the more difficult boss eventually came and for PvP. Overall, the weapon drills are a great way to familiarize oneself in the Halo sandbox and a strategic method to rise in the competitive level of the game. There are no words I can really put together to say how excited I am to hear this soundtrack after playing this flight. And before I say the name of the composers, I'm sorry if I butcher them, but I give my utmost respect to Curtis Schweitzer, Gareth Coker, and Corelitz for adding a modern twist to those classic Halo tracks. However, being able to create new music that feels just right at home with the setting of Zeta Halo. Hearing those monk chants and callback to the original Halo theme makes me know that when it comes to the music of this game, we are in very good hands. I hope to hear more outstanding tracks as we did in this flight and eventually make a video on it. So, that does it for my part of the video. I will have the second part to this up later this week, so thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below of your overall thoughts about the flight. Let me know if you either agree or disagree with what I had to say. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.